It's Thursday, July 23rd. In the headlines, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, moves to address the Auditor General's concerns. In business news, the central bank reports financial losses. Regionally, CDB launches Regional Renewable Energy Program. And in sports, player availability is the biggest hurdle for the Reggae Girls ahead of CAC Games. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, says it is taking decisive action to address concerns stated in an Auditor General's report. Director General of ODPEM, Commander Alvin Gale, and Chair of ODPEM, Trudy Deans, explained in a recent interview with JIS that they are already on the move, rectifying website access controls, repairing over 500 damaged roofs, and more. Demira Rodney has the story.
ODPEM says 507 hurricane-damaged roofs have been repaired under the Shelter Recovery Program. The initiative is being carried out by the Jamaica Defense Force with support from regional and international partners.
That program is being implemented by the Jamaica Defense Force and her military partners from even as far as Africa, and we've had some Caribbean participation in that matter as well. So some 507 roofs have been repaired under that program in phase 1, which we are closing out now.
Commander Gale says phase 1 is being closed out, with ODPEM preparing a report on the homes repaired and the work completed. He also addressed other concerns raised by the Auditor General, saying the issue was not missing materials but gaps in documentation.
We did undercover or discover some gaps in how we would have been treating with, and you mentioned it a while ago, the documentation surrounding inventory. Those were two particular matters identified in the AG's report, and we have put in stronger measures to ensure operationally that at all points of delivery onto these forward operating bases manned by the JF, that an ODPEM rep will be there to cause for the counter-signing of the receipts to occur. So it wasn't a matter of material having gone missing. It was in that particular report a matter concerning us having countersigned on all the delivery receipts.
Board Chairman Trudy Deans adds that the agency is also working to improve coordination among agencies through a centralized platform to track beneficiaries and prevent duplication of assistance.
So one of the things that ODPEM will be looking at is to have one central platform so that ODPEM knows what the Minister of Labour and Social Security is doing, who has benefited from this roof initiative. So that's one of the things that the board will be driving to ensure that whatever is done equally and one hand knows what the other one is doing.
Commander Gale says ODPEM has strengthened monitoring systems and is reviewing procedures to ensure greater accountability in future phases of the recovery program.
So all those matters for making it a full, complete project are in place, and we do expect that we'll be able to satisfy every single gap that was identified in phase 1 of the program.
The Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information has welcomed a new report from the Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, on emergency response mechanisms for students with special education needs and disabilities. Speaking at the report's dissemination ceremony, Deputy Chief Education Officer Dr. Winnie Berry said the findings will support the ministry's existing education in emergencies policy by improving planning, resource allocation, and support for vulnerable learners during crises. The study, conducted by Dr. Shakisha Wilson Scott of the University of the West Indies, examined how schools support students with special educational needs before, during, and after emergencies, including the COVID-19 pandemic and hurricanes. Among its recommendations are more comprehensive emergency planning, stronger collaboration among agencies, and policy reforms to better protect students with disabilities. The report also highlighted challenges such as interrupted learning, limited access to specialized services, technological barriers, and increased psychosocial stress. PIOJ's Director General Wayne Henry says the research provides practical recommendations to improve outcomes for vulnerable students, while the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities Executive Director Christine Hendricks says the findings offer an evidence-based framework to strengthen emergency preparedness in schools. Jamaican-born, London-based photographer Amber Pinkerton is calling for more intentional development of the creative sector for young artists in the Jamaican economy. After years of traveling the world and working with top brands in the fashion industry, Ms. Pinkerton has turned her focus on her home country, and she is ready to join hands to work and lobby for fellow creatives. We sat down with her in studio recently. Amber Pinkerton is described by the New York Times as a, quote, rising photographer inspired by her home country.
I grew up here in Jamaica all my life. Up until 19, I went to Porter Center for Knowledge, which is a very small school, but extremely creative, and I think they had a very big impact on me as well in terms of the performing arts and just general expression. So they had a huge impact. I also went to Arden High School.
Ms. Pinkerton says she has always had an interest in the world of art.
From I was around 5 years old, it's the first word that came to mind in terms of what I wanted to be. That kind of jumped around as I grew up. So at one point I wanted to be an actress. At one point I wanted to be a dancer. I loved speech. I loved drama. I loved dancing, anything that had to do with performance. I loved painting and drawing. And then probably towards 12, 13 years old, with social media and Facebook, that is sort of how I kind of transitioned into digital media and photography.
As mentioned earlier, she moved to London at age 19 to study filmmaking, an experience that led her to see her home in a new light. She also developed her interest in analog photography.
And it's great to be able to incorporate it into my practice because it is still so valued in my industry. I have worked with Gucci, Nike, Moncler, Burberry, Adidas. I've photographed Alec Weck, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, Thames, Coffee, Dua Lipa, and others.
We asked about her experience as a female photographer from a small island nation who had to leave to make her mark abroad.
It's been a challenge over the years to kind of hold on to that because, you know, you face ageism, sometimes racism, sometimes it might be because you're a woman, all of these different factors. But yeah, I've struggled with that a lot. So I'm not gonna say it's as simple, but over the years, it's caused a lot of self-reflection.
She says overall, the people she met and connected with were cordial and interested in her work and island roots.
Sometimes we don't necessarily know the possibilities of what can be done outside of here. I didn't know until I left and I experienced all these different ways and strategies people have to just get creative energy going. But I think it's mainly around exposure, access, and community.
Time now for the business report.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. The Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, is reporting a net loss of $4.6 billion for the period January 1 to July 8 of this year. The BOJ says the loss was recorded on total assets of $1.3 trillion, up from $1.2 trillion in July last year. The bank's foreign assets increased by 8.3% to $1 trillion. The increase was driven mainly by a 14.9% rise in time deposits and other cash resources to $942.9 billion. The bank's demand liability surged by 32.3% to $802.9 billion. The Jamaica Bankers Association has announced it will be phasing out the use of checks, with member institutions set to stop issuing and accepting them by March 1, 2028. As part of the transition, the association says, as of March 1, 2027, the maximum value of a check that will be issued or accepted will be $500,000. It is also reminding customers that effective September 1 this year, banks will no longer issue or accept checks valued at $1 million or more. Customers holding checks for $1 million or more are therefore being urged to deposit them by August 31st. For the trading period of July 22, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 6,247,622 units, representing 24.18% of market sales. Wigton Energy Limited with 2,982,024 units, representing 11.54% of market sales. Deramon Trading Company Limited shares with 2,843,453 units, representing 11% of market sales. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation, finance, and distribution plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for July 22, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demands across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $159.53 and buying at $157.74. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by $1.55 transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $113.17 and was bought for $111.62. The British pound had continued volatility and offered short-term trading opportunities of $1.67 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $213.37 and was bought for $211.70. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, every property tells a story, but before lenders finance your next chapter, they read your finance. Your credit report is your financial reputation. It reveals how you've managed debt, whether you paid on time, and how responsibly you've used credit. Those details can determine whether you qualify for financing, how much you can borrow, and the interest rate you'll pay. If your goal is to build wealth through real estate, don't just invest in property. Invest in your financial profile. A stronger credit report today can create more opportunities tomorrow. Your next real estate deal may begin long before you make an offer. For our funded and focus features, entrepreneurs who grow the fastest often understand one thing: capital has many addresses. Too many business owners think financing begins and ends with a bank loan. It doesn't. Capital can come from your profits invested wisely over time, and for an experienced investor, potentially leveraged through a margin loan. Also, there's your insurance policy by accessing the cash value of a permanent life insurance policy. Your customers through deposits, subscriptions, memberships, or pre-orders, another source. Then you have your suppliers by negotiating extended payment terms that improve cash flow. Your unpaid invoices through invoice financing when working capital is needed. Your community by building a credible crowdfunding campaign supported by loyal followers. Your network by attracting strategic partners who contribute both funding and expertise. Every financing option has trade-offs. The goal isn't simply to raise money, it's to choose the source of capital that best matches your stage of growth, cash flow, and risk tolerance. The best entrepreneurs don't just build businesses, they build multiple pathways to capital. And that's today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital, markets, and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, the Caribbean Development Bank, in partnership with the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, has launched a new regional program aimed at accelerating the region's clean energy transition by investing in people and institutions. The initiative, valued at $5.3 million, is expected to strengthen energy planning, improve technical expertise, and support more resilient, sustainable economies across the Caribbean.
The Caribbean is rich in renewable energy resources, but regional leaders say the biggest obstacle to transforming the sector is no longer technology. It is the shortage of skilled people and strong institutions. To address those challenges, the Caribbean Development Bank and the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency, CRE, have launched the ASSERT 2020 Regional Capacity Strengthening Program. Director of Projects Department at the Caribbean Development Bank, O'Reilly Lewis, says the initiative will strengthen energy planning and improve regional data systems.
Governments, regulators, utilities, and energy professionals must be enabled to plan and to implement modern energy systems. They also must have access to reliable data and timely technical advice. Without these capabilities, good ideas remain concepts and investment opportunities are delayed. Capacity strengthening is therefore a fundamental investment to accelerate the region's sustainable energy development.
The program will also help countries develop integrated resource. CRE Executive Director Dr. Mohamed Naji says the program is about creating long-term change rather than isolated projects.
Projects can deliver, and they do deliver, valuable impact. But being able to engross them into a program that has a distinctive framework and an outlook in the medium to long term really requires a coordinated, program-based approach that strengthens institutions, develops people. People at the core is extremely important, improves our decision-making, mobilizes investment in the near, medium, and short term. Very important.
Canada's High Commissioner to Barbados, Brenda Will, says building people is more important than constructing buildings.
The launch of ASSERT 2030 recognizes a simple reality. A successful energy transition is not only about infrastructure and investment, it is also about people. That understanding is at the heart of Canada's support for renewable energy and climate resilience in the Caribbean, a partnership that spans decades. Canada has long supported climate action across the region through a range of bilateral, regional, and multilateral partnerships.
The US $5.3 million program will be implemented over the next 30 months, and it is expected to strengthen energy security, reduce dependence on imported fossil fuels, and help Caribbean countries build more resilient and sustainable economies. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
The government of Trinidad and Tobago has received a major boost to its disaster preparedness efforts following a multi-million-dollar donation from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The church has handed over nearly 1.5 million TTT dollars worth of emergency relief supplies and equipment to the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government, strengthening the country's capacity to respond to disasters. Here's more from Cavian John.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints handed over close to 1.5 million TT dollars in disaster relief supplies to the Ministry of Rural Development and Local Government on Wednesday. Minister Khadija Amin said the partnership with the church began in 2018 when relief efforts were carried out in her St. Augustine constituency. She described the latest donation as a major investment in national disaster preparedness and resilience.
These items represent more than just equipment. They represent preparedness, not reaction, resilience, even when we are vulnerable, and partnership, even where we might have isolation in case of a disaster. It strengthens our national disaster management framework by giving our municipal corporations disaster management units the tools they need so that they can respond swiftly, they can coordinate effectively, and they can serve communities with greater confidence and efficiency.
Elder Don Jones of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said the donation reflects the church's commitment to helping communities.
We believe in being self-reliant and being prepared, and we've put a lot of effort into trying to help others to do that. Because that's the only way that we can follow the teachings that Christ has, is to, if we are prepared to do that.
The donated equipment includes 8 rescue boats, over 50,000 sandbags, 600 mattresses, 21 pressure washers, 19 portable generators, 16 dewatering pumps, 624 tarpaulin, 14 chainsaws, and 20 ring burners. Minister Amin also assured that strict accountability measures are in place to ensure the donated equipment is properly managed and used only during emergencies.
What I have sought to do is establish in every region where they will have their own stockpile. So in anticipation of this equipment coming in and this donation, we practically emptied our warehouse some months ago, where all the equipment we had here was assigned to corporations. They must properly account for it. So you cannot randomly give away mattresses or tarpaulins because somebody wants one. They must be properly used in a time of disaster, and you must account for every piece of equipment. So they each have their own stockpile at present.
She added that the ministry has begun a program to establish disaster relief warehouses in every region to ensure equipment can reach the communities efficiently when needed. Cavian John, TTT News.
We headline our sports report with some football news. Reggae Girls head coach Hubert Busby says player availability rather than on-field opposition has been the team's biggest challenge ahead of the Central American and Caribbean Games, the CAC Games. With the tournament taking place outside of FIFA's international window, several clubs and universities have declined to release Jamaican players, forcing Mr. Busby to name a youthful squad featuring emerging talent instead of many established internationals. Mr. Busby said European-based players are unavailable because they have begun pre-season with their clubs, while players competing in the National Women's Soccer League in the United States remain in the middle of their season. He added that the NCAA institutions are also under no obligation to release collegiate players for the tournament. Despite the absences, Mr. Busby says he's confident the Reggae Girls have the quality to compete for a medal. Jamaica will begin its CAC campaign in Group B alongside Mexico, Colombia, and Puerto Rico. We look now to cricket. Trinidad and Tobago's under-19 men's cricket team won the bronze medal after a dominant 7-wicket victory over the Leeward Islands in their third-place match at the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars under-19 50-over championships. With Trinidad and Tobago's bowlers dismissing their opponents for fewer than 100 runs, Brendan Badu's 49 helped secure the bronze medal in Antigua. Adrian Lazar has the highlights.
The Bethesda Sports Ground in Antigua hosted the third-place playoff in the Cricket West Indies men's under-19 Rising Stars 50-over championships between Trinidad and Tobago and the Leeward Islands. With Leeward Islands winning the toss and opting to bat first, the team in maroon began strong with Tanez Francis scoring 22 with 4 fours. However, that would be the highest score of their innings, as the rest of the Leeward's batting order was dismissed for under 22 runs. Ronaldo Fornile claimed 4 wickets for 26, while Darren Danraj got 2 for 14, as the Leewards ended their innings on 88.
He's edging and...
Batting next, TNT began slow, with Christian Lal going only for 2.
Clark is getting his man.
Then Levi Ghani for 8 runs.
He's gone caught behind.
Then up stepped Captain Brendan Budu, who settled the ship for TNT, registering a total of 9 fours as he went on to score an unbeaten 49.
He's this time playing it beautifully through the offside.
Despite the dismissal of Ethan Ramcharan for 10, Budu and Tyreek Richards got TNT over the line, with Budu scoring the winning runs as they ended on 89 for 3 to capture third place. Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
And that's the news on PBCJ. Pleasant viewing.